What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 11 of the Listen Whilst You Step podcast. First off, Happy New Year. I hope you all had an awesome Christmas and obviously New Year's. I'm sure it wasn't the Christmas and New Year's that we all expected it to be, but hopefully we all had a decent time with family and any friends that we could. Today, I am joined by the other two coaches with Team Aesthetic Strength, the one, the only, Jonny Glendenning, and the newest member of the team, Mr. Danny Glendenning. Welcome on, fellas. How are we?
Sorry, do you want to say Danny's second name again, mate?
What did I say?
Me and Jonny just got married recently. I don't
know. too much in the mud. That's a good start, isn't it? Happy New Year. Danny Glendenning. Danny Glendenning. Mate, you two, mate, to be fair, you two make a great couple.
Hey, mate, it's 2021. You can do whatever you want.
well said. Let's just kick it off then, boys. Let's start with what's some of the biggest things that you've learned in 2020. Jonny, I'll let you go first, bro.
Well, mate, considering at the start of the year, everyone was like, 2020 is going to be my year, and everyone kind of had all these set plans and ideas. And I think kind of the biggest thing you learn is like that goes out the window pretty fast. And then it just comes down to kind of thing, people who kind of react on the fly and who kind of really wants it at the end of the day. I think everyone kind of talks a big game. And then when things don't go quite their way, you really see the people who actually really want it, because they get their head down, they'll find another way to get things done. Whereas we saw like loads of people just going, oh, well, I've got lockdown, I've got this, I've got that, like I can't do these, I can't achieve all these goals I want to. And I think that's the biggest thing probably I think people have learned this year, is that even if some things get in their way, like if you really want it bad enough, like you'll definitely get through those obstacles.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's literally people like the first hurdle be like, nah, can't do it. It's literally just using it as an excuse and like a roadblock rather than it just being like a little bump in the road. Like, yeah, it may slow down your progress a bit to start with. Doesn't matter what your goals are, fitness related, business related, personal related. Sure, it's made it a bit more tricky, but if you really want those goals, then yeah, you would have found a way. And safe to say, a hell of a lot of our clients have absolutely crushed it. And I actually did a podcast with Pitch, which will be coming out in the next couple of weeks after this one, talking about how he probably thinks that he might not have even got the results that he did if it wasn't for lockdown, because it's just kind of got rid of a load of distractions and took some of his biggest weaknesses, like it made them not weakness anymore because he didn't have the opportunity to. 100%, mate. How about you, Danny?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is probably you can't take things for granted anymore. I think it's very easy, like pre-2020, you could just hop on a flight, go wherever you wanted. Even the gym, you could have shit days in the gym, moan about it. But now I think when stuff does reopen, people are going to appreciate the ability to be able to go to the gym when it's pouring outside, rather than just being stuck in your gaff with like 4 kilo dumbbells. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, massively. I think that the traveling one's a big one for me. Is everyone took for granted like being able to go away on holiday massively, and the second everyone gets like, no, you can't leave Jersey, for example, you can't leave, like everyone's been like, oh wow, like we seriously took that shit for granted, mate. Like I was super lucky. I was probably one of the only people who actually managed to get away towards the kind of tail end of the year. I'm super grateful for that. But yeah, I know as soon as kind of everything opens up, I will be doing as much traveling as I possibly can come 2021. Where are you boys wanting to get off to next year?
I'm thinking I got a little Emirates voucher to use now since my flight to Dubai got cancelled, unlike some. Yeah, so I'm thinking Asia way, maybe Vietnam or something.
Mate, that'd be sick. How about you, Jonny? I know we spoke about going to America.
Yeah, so like you kind of been saying, like it's been taken for granted a lot, and obviously now finishing my masters and stuff, I just think it's one of those times, like you said, you kind of you didn't really appreciate what we had until it's gone, and it's 100% one of those things this year. I'm like, well, I've finished my education, let's go, like enjoy myself, go around the world. Like you said, we've talked about Amsterdam maybe in a couple of months after I've done my dissertation. Then we're talking about, well, we've got Ibiza for one of our mates' stag do's.
Yeah, mate, it's gonna be.
Yeah,
I'm slightly scared for that, if I'm honest.
And then pretty much as soon as we come back, got family holiday to the Maldives, which Simon's managed to somehow tag along into my room.
I think maybe it should have been Simon Glendenning rather than Danny Glendenning.
Yeah, and then, yeah, like you said, hopefully after that, come the end of summer, maybe do tour of America, and then
big time.
And then definitely next New Year's skiing, mate. That is the plan for the year. We kind of said plans get thrown out the window sometimes, so we will wait and see.
Yeah, I think the phrase of the year for me comes down to that being proactive rather than reactive. That's literally the phrase of 2020 for me, because I think those people, like we kind of said there, Johnny, the people who have been reactive are those people who have kind of really struggled this year. Everyone has struggled, but the people who have been proactive with things and kind of gone out and still made the effort and things like that, there are a lot of people who have still thrived under the circumstances. And kind of talking of thriving, the whole kind of thing that I want to do with this episode is going to be making sure that we can give people some actionable takeaway points and some advice about how to set 2021 up for like crazy success. I know I've got a few points, but I'll let Danny kick us off. What's something that you recommend for people to do kind of now that people can go away, action to kind of set themselves up really, really well for success in 2021, whether that be any type of goal?
Yeah, I think now going into Jan, especially now that everyone's locked down, they've got nothing to do, you may as well use that time to set yourself a goal for 2020, whether that's just like a short-term monthly thing, like people do a little New Year's resolution, build yourself a habit, or make it a longer-term goal, say like for the end of the year, whether that's a transformation, weight loss, or a business thing. Set that goal, set a date, and then break it down into some short-term, medium, and long-term goals.
Yeah, 100%. That's the problem. I think people, they'd go one way or the other. They either set goals that are so fucking big that they're just unrealistic, or
it's like the saying, isn't it? It's like if you aim for the stars, you'll reach the moon type thing.
Yeah, literally. I think people they can either go so ridiculous, or they don't challenge themselves enough and it make it too easy that it doesn't like stimulate them, if you know what I mean. I'm a big advocate of setting like someday goals and then break it down. What do I need to do each year? What do I need to do each month? What do I need to do each week? What do I need to do each day to get there? That was my kind of first point. It was actually writing down some fucking goals. So many people go through their life and they actually don't sit down and evaluate the year before or the year or just look at what did they do well, what did they learn, what didn't go well. Because I think without actually taking a step back and evaluating what's gone on, like I think there's that phrase where you win or you learn. Okay, if you just say you don't lose, you learn. There's been a hell of a lot of learning in the last 12 months. And if you don't learn from it and kind of implement those learnings, then you're just going to go through this year like doing exactly the same. So, okay, so for me, it's kind of making that evaluation and then actually physically getting some goals down on paper. I read a study the other day and it was saying that if you literally just write your goals down on a piece of paper, you're something like 60% more likely to actually achieve them, which is nuts to think about it.
Yeah, it's like you hear some of the most successful people in the world say they plan their day the day before, don't they? They write it down in the diary with timings because they're more likely to do it. It's more likely to happen.
That's me, mate. Not saying I'm crazy successful, but that's one of the biggest game changers for me. There's a book called The One Thing. If you want to become more productive and just get shit done, like read that book. That's one of the books that changed my life. It's freaking game changing. Anything on goal setting, Johnny? I know you're big on it.
It's kind of like encompassing like things that both of you have said. For me, like it's one of those things like set your sights high. It's no point aiming low because you're just going to hit that low point. Always aim for something you think might be a bit unrealistic. Because as Danny was saying, like you shoot for the stars and you get to the moon kind of thing. So 100% like write things down. For me, what I do, I get a list and I'll just do 3 big things that I want for the year in like different aspects of my life. And then, like you said, I will break it down. So I go, right, this first quarter, what do I want to achieve? What do I want to achieve in the second quarter? What do I want to achieve in the third quarter? And then also like something we've done at uni as well, don't just kind of set smaller goals, like evaluate then your performance. Go, have I done everything to meet this goal, like in this quarter? And then if you haven't, you go, right, why is that? What can I do better? And then each time we're just getting a little bit better kind of as the year goes by. And it's one of those things where if you just keep adding up all these kind of little goals and little achievements, it will get you to those big goals that you've set at the beginning of the year.
Mate, massively. Winning's a habit. If you can just set, like we always talk about setting all of our clients up for success. I think that's another kind of thing. Like on goals, you can give yourself ranges. So you can be like, look, if I hit this, I'm happy, but I really want to get to this. So you can have like I'm happy here, but also that's like a fucking, that's the actual dream world. So I think that's massively important. It's just, like you say, breaking it back down, making it realistic. And if you can set kind of bite-sized, achievable targets that are going to get you winning, the more you win, the more you will win in the future. Because winning's a habit. That's why we always talk about kind of getting up and getting those steps, because it sets the tone and it gets that first win of the day. So win, 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 and think about kind of setting your goals up for success. Anything else, Johnny? What do you reckon people need to know for 2021, baby?
I think that what people probably need to know is that life and like anything, like fitness, like anything, it's never
You broke up for me there, bro. I'll be honest.
I was just saying basically, so like what I'm saying was with this year, things aren't always going to go perfectly, but things don't always need to go perfectly in order for you like to achieve your goals, whether that's in fitness or like things outside kind of the fitness, just everyday life kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. Massively, massive. It's that whole consistency over perfection thing. No one can be 100% perfect all the time. I think it's a case of realizing that. And one of the biggest questions I'm sure we all get asked all the time is, how do you stay so motivated? I'm like, I don't. I just keep going. I just keep going. You just keep ticking boxes and the results will come.
It's having that discipline to do things over and over again. Like I'm not always excited to go to the gym. I'm not always excited to go do like steps. There are occasions where you are, but it's just learning, having that discipline by going, well, you keep doing it and it becomes a habit. You don't have to think about it. And then suddenly you start to enjoy it. And like I said, it doesn't always, you're not always loving it, but then you don't always hate it. I think people have this crazy idea in their head that there's always like this peak and you're always at the peak. It's definitely not the case.
Ride the wave, baby. Ride the wave. Yeah. On that, something which I found freaking game changing when I probably wasn't quite as disciplined. There's something I call the 2-minute rule. Okay. You say to yourself, right, all I'm going to do is 2 minutes. We all know the hardest thing to do is start. But if you say, right, if I do 2 minutes and I don't want to carry on doing this, you give yourself the right to stop. So if you want to go for a run, just do 2 minutes. If you don't want to stop after that 2 minutes, you can stop. Nobody ever did 2 minutes and stopped.
It's one of those things I think I was saying to people the other day, like you never really regret anything that you do. You always regret the things you don't do. I've had multiple times where it's been like, oh, I really don't want to start my essay, or I don't want to go to the gym. But like you say, as soon as you kind of do that thing of, right, let's do 2 minutes of it, see how we go, you don't regret it because you either learn from it or you actually then start to realize, actually, it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and you also know if you do quit, you kind of have that feeling on yourself, you're like, I'm going to feel shit if, like, say just something simple, like you're on the treadmill, if you've got like 15 minutes left or whatever, and then you could just hit that stop button. But you know in the back of your mind, if you hit that stop button, you go home, you're just going to sit there and feel shit that you haven't carried on doing it.
Danny, you've never been on the treadmill in your life, mate.
Mate, now and then, you know, when we could go to the gym and it was raining outside, I'd get my steps in that way.
Love it. With the old Netflix series on in the front. Good.
Yeah, you know how it is, mate. Little towel over the timer. Don't need to see it. Sorted.
Yeah, mate. He's probably eating a tub of Ben & Jerry's at the same time.
Got to stay anabolic, mate.
For me, guys, the next thing after kind of people having that big goal is literally just to make sure that people have the right reasons they're doing shit. Goals are so easy to say, I want to lose weight, I want to lose 10 kilos, but why are you really doing stuff, man? And it takes a serious person and some serious discipline for you to actually be able to dig deep enough within yourself to find the real reasons why. So I think if you can actually have a conversation with, doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be a coach, it could literally be a partner, a friend, and they can just literally just go, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Someone who knows you well enough will get the right answer out of you, I think.
100% agree on that.
It's,
it is one of those things, like you say, I think people kind of scrape the surface sometimes, and they don't kind of realize actually their true reasons why until they really have to dig a bit deeper. No one really wants to dig a bit deeper. That I think that's the other thing. People are quite scared.
Emotion is scary, man.
Yeah, man.
Especially particularly a lot of guys. Like I can speak like for myself. Like I don't open up about my emotion, but like getting clear on the reasons why you do shit will just help you flipping through and through. Like a lot of people say, "Oh, I want to do this because I want to get more confident." Why do you want to be more confident? Why do you give a shit what people think about you?
Mm-hmm.
You can go
I
that.
think a lot of the time you might not have that reason, that real reason why at the start. But say if you're like 4 weeks into a plan or something, and then you're thinking, oh, I don't really want to do this today, or you're kind of like, why am I doing it? I think then that's kind of like when you check yourself and you think a little bit deeper, like, why am I actually making myself do this?
And I think, like you were saying before, if you have like a partner who's constantly asking you why, and you do find the reason why, like your partner then knows that and they can push you on. I had that with like people this week who I've said, have someone else to try do stuff with you. Because the reasons why like I do stuff is because if I'm not motivated to do something, and then Simon's like, right, we're doing this workout today, come on, mate, like let's just push through. Because like he knows me and he understands why I'm doing things, he can push me forward kind of thing and get in my head, like you say, find things that makes me tick.
Yeah, it's like what, to be fair, I saw it from like an outside point of view with you two when you were doing your cut for summer. I saw like how Simon held you accountable, Jonny. Rather, like I could see you were quite keen sometimes to maybe just like go off the rails or whatever, have a little cheat meal and stuff. But like having Simon there kept you to it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you were that devil on my
Yeah,
shoulder.
I was gonna say,
like, should we get a Chinese? And Simon was like,
come on.
He was that angel, mate, on the
Down
other
the beach, do you want 8 scoops of ice cream or just one? Like,
can you fit 12 in a tub? Yeah, I think something that's quite cool on that is the whole goal setting is, and then the why. With your why, once you've come up with your goal, evaluate the pros and cons of it, because that helps you get clear on your why. So if you have a goal to say, I want to lose 10 kilos, okay, sit down and go, what are the advantages and the pros if I can do this? What are the cons? Okay. If you can put a lot of pros there and you'll struggle to put cons, it's something that you need to do. But if it's actually given some cons and there's quite an even balance between it, I think personally you've got to reevaluate your goal. Sure. Kind of something you mentioned on there, Jonny, having other people around you to kind of support you. That leads on to one of the biggest things that I think is the most important. I think personally, like for me, 2020 has been absolutely incredible in a number of different ways. And I would put this down to being one of the main reasons, and it's having a fucking strong like support network around you. I think we talk a little bit about it in the kind of inner circle one, but I think just surrounding yourself with like-minded people who you know want you to succeed as much as you do personally is literally priceless.
Yeah, literally, I've had that. Well, I had this kind of similar kind of conversation last night. As you said, like having that support network around you to kind of pick you up makes just things 10 times easier. Like my uni boys, we all had like a Christmas social last night, and it was 100% something that was brought up. And we're like, oh, why do we do these things? Why do we all get on? And it's 100% one of those things where sometimes some of us were down at uni, and it was the fact that we were all so close to each other that we were able to like pick each other up and kind of push through like ourselves through things.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a case of making sure that if you are embarking on you've got a freaking big goal, make the people around you aware of it. Because sometimes if they're not aware that you're trying to do something, you're going all in, maybe you're doing this, you're doing that. And they're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what are you doing? Like it can have
going on so many walks a day.
Yeah. Simon, why are you always working? It's because I've got this big goal that I want to achieve. But if I make, for example, Ju, like me and Ju have had conversations and she completely supports me with it. If I hadn't had that, she's probably going to get pissed off that I'm always working all the time and stuff like that. So it's about making the people around you aware so that they can help you and help keep you accountable as well, rather than bring you down.
And like we were there, like exactly that point is that if you do talk to people about the reasons why and what you want to achieve and stuff, and they're not supporting you, you've kind of got to look at it as, well, are they really there for me, or are they just pushing me to where they want me to be, or what they want me to do, kind of thing. That's the thing you really have to then kind of look at, like reasons why you're friends, and kind of seeing if they're there for you.
Yeah, especially if it's something you're first starting out on, I think you soon realise like who actually wants you to succeed, and then you've got those other people that might say to your face they want you to succeed, but they're quite happy to kind of laugh at you behind your back. Do you know what I mean? Even like little tiny things like, oh, why are they posting this on social media, blah, blah, blah. You see it all the time when people like start out of the gym and you hear comments, oh, why are they posting fitness stuff? Because they're proud of what they're now working towards. And it's quite easy to knock someone down, but it's harder to build someone up.
It's being proud of what you're trying to achieve. And I think anyone who's got anyone who's setting a goal that they want to better themselves should be fucking proud of it, because it's not an easy thing to do, to kind of look at yourself and go, I want to be better.
Yeah, 100%. You see it all the time over here as well. And I think that's a lot to do with like who you're around. It's like people working in finance and all they do is fucking moan about their job. But then in 5 years' time, they're still in that exact same job. And it's like, why are you doing it? So it's having people around you to be like, right, what are you going to do with yourself to get yourself out of this job and out of this situation that you just fucking hate?
Yeah, that's one of my biggest pet hates, man. You know, we've all got things that like boil our blood, and mine is people moaning about stuff but never taking action. Okay, I don't care how much you moan. If you take action, I'll be with you there, but don't moan and don't take action. True that. You boys got anything you think would be awesome for people to hear?
What about 2021? What,
Yeah,
like
man.
Our own goals kind of thing.
Yeah, what are your goals for 2021, Johnny? I know we've got some big numbers coming.
Oh yes, that's the thing. One of my big three is of course my powerlifting stuff, like really starting to like get into all of that. So kind of looking at those numbers, like obviously now I've got a coach for the first time ever, and he's kind of really pushing me through things, kind of really obliterating my technique, which I thought I was pretty good, but clearly not. And it's one of those things where I thought like I was almost at my limit with things, and I'm nowhere near it. So kind of the numbers we are looking at, it's one of those things you don't want to throw it out there just in case you don't hit it, but screw it, like we'll throw it out there and see what we get. So
I think that's a better reason to throw it out there.
Yeah, man.
Put more pressure on you, hold
Exactly,
you accountable for that.
I'm thinking 300 kilo dead, man.
Yeah, so we're looking at probably about a 260 squat. We're gonna hit a 280 deadlift, and then we definitely want to get up to a 160 bench.
Right, that'd be Phil.
I feel like you may as well try beat my 285. If you're gonna do it, you're gonna do it.
I like judging.
If you beat 285, I'll go back to deadlifting.
Mate, I'm not even
That'll hold you accountable.
I think in a couple of months, I reckon about 3-4 months I could be there.
Mate, are we allowed to put it on Body Rock's plates?
285 there is like 260.
250 on a good day. Nah. Strictly any PBs now have to be pulled on the Alico bar with the Alico plates, okay? That's a rule.
Alright, deal.
Otherwise it doesn't stand. How about any personal goals, Johnny? That's kind of performance based. Got any personal goals?
Personal goals, well, of course, like I said, is to actually get my masters done. And then my own little kind of personal goal within that is to get my kind of dissertation published. I'd kind of like to get that done. It would be very kind of prestigious for me kind of to have that published. But we will see where we get to. It's going to be kind of a few months of hard graft. So that's kind of what I'd like to do there. With like, that's one of my other like personal goals.
Love that. Mate, that'd be sick. That really would be sick.
It would be something that I'd really like, and I know my parents would definitely love it. Considering like they put all this effort into me, I think it would be a nice reward kind of for everyone. But we will see where we get to.
Is that your why then, to do it for your parents?
No, it's more for me.
I love it.
Hey,
Right, respect the honesty. Respect the honesty.
The other day, I was just like, well, anything anyone does in life is for themselves. I was listening to a podcast the other day with James Smith, and he was like, everyone's a narcissist kind of thing. Even people who do charity work, because you're like, well, you're doing charity work to help other people and make other people happy, but that in turn is making themselves happy. So the reason for anyone to do anything is because it makes them happy.
Yeah, in turn with that, it kind of comes, let's say you went for dinner and split the bill. Like someone who says, don't worry, I've got the bill. Like they're definitely doing it for themselves. Someone who pays the bill and just disappears and doesn't brag about it. There's still
some reason why like they're doing it, and it's, as I said, it's normally because it makes you happy. You wouldn't do something if it didn't make you happy.
Yeah, for sure. How about you, Danny? What's the goal for 2021, bro?
I've got some financial goals that I want to kind of hit, but don't really obviously want to go into. Do you know what I mean? Want to pay off like a decent chunk on this place over the next year. And then also I want to take my mum to Hawaii in 2022 is the plan.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Save some wedge and do that.
I hope she isn't listening, mate.
Yeah, she won't listen. She doesn't have to work podcasts, mate.
She follows me on Instagram though.
Yeah, I know, mate. You slid in her DM. Well, you didn't. Your little bloke did.
Donna, do you want some coaching?
Yeah.
Nah, mate, that's sick. That'd be so super cool. Hawaii's been on my list for a long time.
Yeah, it's been on her list for a while, and I'm just proud of what she's done over the last however many years. So yeah, I just want to do that, say thank you and stuff.
That'd be a super cool goal. How about training wise?
Training wise, not really sure. Just to grow, really. It's pretty simple. I've came away from that kind of, as you know, the powerlifting sides of things. Lay on a bench the other month and just thought, fuck this, man. Just couldn't do it mentally. I couldn't go back to it now. Maybe I will in a few years. We'll see. Yeah, it was to RDL 220 for 10 by Christmas. Did that a few weeks before, luckily, before gyms closed.
Still disgusting.
Yeah, so I was going to set some new ones originally because I fully changed the rotation and stuff. But with gyms being closed, I don't know. We'll see. Just to be bigger and leaner than last year's cut, really. Nothing major.
And whole condition of it better.
Yeah, not lose 5 kilos of tissue by going on the piss every weekend.
Guys will be listening to this one before they listen to the yo-yo dieting one. The yo-yo dieting one will be next week after listening to this. It's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah, if you want to find out how to lose tissue, go to there.
Yeah, I know for me, I've got some big old goals for 2021. And you boys know, like, obviously we've got kind of goals within aesthetic strength. Like, boys, I haven't even said this. I want to get 250 transformations for people in 2021.
Let's have it.
That'd be pretty sick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be sick.
That'd be mad.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah, but like, that's the thing. Like, I've always prided us on not posting just like progress pictures, like actual transformations.
Yeah, actual life-changing, completely different outlook.
Yeah, like we're talking, they don't look like the same person. Not which one's the before, which one's the after. Like, I want 250 like crazy transformations. I think we've mentioned it a couple of times about running the first ever powerlifter meet in Jersey. That'd be pretty sick, I think, as well. Apart from Johnny's not allowed to enter because he's probably going to outlift us all. Yeah,
maybe give me a few months' notice, and I might do a little summon.
Yeah, it can be completely natural and boys. Any last?
I know what you're trying to say there, by the way.
I'm joking. Very joking, by the way.
Accusations inbound. Like.
Guys, anything else you think guys should kind of know moving into 2021?
I think also, like we talked about almost performance side of things, but I think you should also look at like the mental side and go and like appreciating things. I think that's one of the biggest ones. That's kind of my big, I talked about having 3 goals, and like my third one is kind of more mental side. And it's one of those things of just appreciating kind of my friends and my family a bit better. Like I said, like we all hooked up with my uni boys last night, and I haven't seen them since like February time. It's one of those, like for me next year, it's just like get over, see them, kind of appreciate kind of the time we spent with them. And like same for you boys as well. Like if we could just meet up as much as possible, kind of thing, and really appreciate kind of the time we spend with each other, because you never know what's around the corner.
Yeah, love you, bro.
Yeah,
No, mate.
We are married, so
exactly.
I can't believe I did that. No, but mate, that's such a big one. That's kind of linked into one of mine, and mine is to have a bit more balance this year. Well, moving into 2021, because you all know I've become a bit of a robot over the last 9-12 months. It's been work, train, sleep, and that's been about it. So it's definitely some more balance, some more traveling, and definitely, like Jonny says, appreciating everything a little bit more. Just touch on that and kind of the mindset stuff. My personal belief is that if we're talking transformations, as this is a fitness podcast, the difference between someone who is successful in terms of their fitness journey and someone who isn't, I personally believe is this mindset. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, like 100%. Like you say, if someone has like a good positive mindset, it just makes things 10 times easier for their journey. It's one of those things where, yeah, you might get knocked back, but everyone gets knocked back. Like we were saying before, no one's perfect. You're always going to have bumps in the road. But if you're positive and have that good mindset, you're never going to give up. And as like Danny was saying, like if you quit, it's the worst feeling. And people with that good mentality, like positive mindset, they're never going to give up. They're never going to quit. And so they're always going to achieve something.
Yeah, and in terms of transformations, we all see it with clients and their check-in sheets and stuff. It's the ones that fill out their sheets to 90% the best they can, or 100% every single week. They're the ones that seem to get the best transformations.
Do you know something I've learned this year? The smartest people ask the best questions.
And normally they think it's those type of people think it's a really stupid question. But something definitely we learned at uni was that thing of everyone's pretty much thinking the same thing.
If you've got a question, so does the other 20 people.
Exactly, yeah. So you're better off kind of sticking your hand up and asking.
100%. So we'll wrap it up there, guys, because you probably got like 45 minutes of us rambling on. Happy New Year, and let's absolutely crush 2021. Please make sure you go and give the guys a follow, Jonny and Danny Glendenning. Danny Blandon.
I have to change my Instagram tag. Fucking hell, man.
And guys, if you ever want us to have any other guests on, you've got any good ideas of who you want us to bring on, let me know. Please leave it a like. Please screenshot the podcast, tag us on your Instagram stories. We would really, really appreciate it. And we will see you in the next episode.